And welcome to our community. Susie Thomas with you this morning with a special treat for us all. We've got Don Jones and Josh Erickson from the Canton Players Guild. Josh Erickson, title is?
Producing Artistic Director.
I knew there were three words. Producing
long
Artistic
one, yeah.
Director. And Don Jones, much easier to remember, Ebenezer Scrooge and frequent performer with the Canton Players Guild. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Susie.
Let's start with Josh. Tell us a little bit about the Players Guild in general, just such high caliber of community theater here in our area.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we are very proud of what we have here in Canton. Players Guild Theater has been in existence for 83 seasons consecutively. That's something we're very proud of. That's may put us in the rank of one of the, if not the oldest, continuously operating theaters in the nation.
Wow.
But regardless of that, we have a talent pool that's amazing, and we have a very loyal audience base, and it's kept us going very strong.
Let's talk about the talent pool that lives in the area. Now, you hold open auditions.
We do, yeah.
And then people just show up. Are you ever surprised by some of the talent that shows up on any given occasion? And also, do you use who you might have available in when you're selecting what shows to do?
Well, yeah, to your first question, I mean, the amount of talent that we see, it is always surprising to us. The actors, as we've just said, they're all volunteer-based, so they're doing this out of sheer love, sheer passion, and so we're always surprised that they will give up essentially, 9 weeks to rehearse and be a part of a production just because they love it. So we're always impressed by that, and when we get around to selecting shows, we're always looking at what's relevant to the community, what our audience wants to come see, and sometimes we're thinking about what it is that would excite actors to audition for. So there's a lot of thought process going into that. But really, they show up. If it's a good name show, they'll be there and competing for roles.
And you keep your finger on the pulse of what's new, don't you? What's coming out in New York and Broadway and plays. How do you select what to do? What would be good for our particular community?
Well, we really try to keep track of what's trending right now. What's popular with an audience, and it's a tricky business. Really, sometimes what's available to us, as far as licensing and royalties, can be a challenge. But we're always looking for the musicals or plays, dramas that speak to the Canton audience. What is it that's relevant to them? And so many of the issues that may be popular in New York or of topic are, of course, just as relevant to Canton. So a lot of it plays well together.
We'll get back to more of the things that have been popular and the popular plays you have coming up. But one of the most popular is A Christmas Carol. This is, how many years has this been going on now?
This is currently our 33rd production of A Christmas Carol.
Amazing. All right. And I think I remember, Don, you are Ebenezer Scrooge number 9. Is that right?
I don't know. Maybe.
I
Something
think.
like
Sounds
that.
about right.
I've
yeah.
heard that somewhere.
There's been a lot of others, that's for sure.
Well, I think we all remember Nick Berry kind of started it off back in what year?
1982.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go. Well, that would make sense, 33 years. And then there have been some others. You have been playing this role for how long?
This will be my 6th year playing the role.
That has got to be kind of an iconic, not just role to play on the Players Guild stage, but role to play day to day living in Stark County, because you get to be Ebenezer Scrooge every year. You make everybody's Christmas. You kick it off. Didn't know if you knew that. No pressure or anything. But what does that do to you to be the guy?
Well, you can't be more blessed and honored to do this. It's just a blast. I mean,
Yeah.
who wouldn't want to be the guy that does that?
All right. Well, let's go back to the beginning. Now, you've been involved with Players Guild for how long? How did you first become involved?
Well, I think I've been involved with the Players Guild for a little over a decade, maybe 12 years or so. I got involved because my wife, Janet, is an actress and an acting teacher, and she was an instructor there. A friend of ours worked in the office at the time, Chrissy, and so she got involved, and I don't know, 3 or 4 years later, I don't remember, I changed jobs, and I said, I'm going to do a show. I'm tired of, working all the time, so what's going on down there? She said, well, a friend of yours is directing the Diary of Anne Frank. And I said, oh, that's great. Let's go down. So that's how I got involved. And then soon after, I got on the board, and I spent a lot of time on the board before I started doing more shows. And
Wow. So you're one of these people that Josh is talking about that commits the time. Tell us, what is a rehearsal schedule? And then you have a performance schedule, and sometimes you are doing 2 a day, which I cannot even fathom.
Well, it's brutal for a lot of the people that have real jobs, fortunately. And one of the reasons that I can do this consistently is because I do anything I want these days. And so this time of year, I just do that.
You've
and
earned
I try
it.
not to do too much else because it's a lot to do. And a lot of my fellow cast members are teachers. They work in law offices, or they have jobs that are far away, and they have to drive to get there. They have to make special requests to get the days off necessary to do the matinees we do for the school kids. And it's challenging, and it's you got to eat right, you have to sleep right, and you have to be ready for it. So,
And it's an emotional roller coaster. You go through a lot of emotions. We'll talk about that in a moment. But this particular Players Guild production of A Christmas Carol is unique to the Players Guild. You want to talk a little bit about the music and this particular show?
Yeah, so our version of Christmas Carol was written, composed by a local composer, Steve Parsons, who is also our music director, has been for a number of years. And the book and lyrics were written by another local, actually I went to high school with him, John Popa. Yeah. So it's a production that, it's unique to the Players Guild, was really commissioned for our theater. And, you can't see it anywhere else, which we're proud of. And it's just, of course I'm biased, but it really wraps up this story in such a neat and emotional way. It's a Broadway caliber musical.
It truly is. It's an interesting history. They brought out the musical, did it a couple of years.
Right.
Then, for some reason, there was a year where it went straight play, no music, completely different, and then you decided to bring back the musical again.
Yeah.
Interesting decision. I think a good one.
Oh, I think so. It's one of the decisions I'm most proud of.
That was you?
As artistic director.
Good job.
I had been, really appointed to that position, and one of the first things we decided was we wanted to bring that musical version back. A lot of people obviously remember the original Jerry Lowe, who was the artistic director who adapted the original version with Nick Berry, very fondly. They think of it very fondly, as do I.
Yes.
However, we needed a new version that worked for our audience and worked for our theater and the actors that were available, and hence the musical.
Well, now it's very interesting too. You somehow keep it fresh, didn't you? Weren't you telling me that there's even been refurbished music even this year? If you've seen it before, you haven't yet really seen it.
Yeah, it's very true. Yeah,
this year it's quite different. We've kept it fresh over the years, and we've done things with it. There's a lot to do with this story because it's so universal in a lot of ways. But Steve and John have rewritten the show. It's still the same show, but there are several new music pieces and lots of new dialogue, and it is better. It's just so beautiful. Yeah. I can't wait till people see it.
I can't imagine it being better. I mean, I've seen it throughout the years, and it's always awesome.
Yeah.
And for you to all say that it's even better and that you're so excited about it, that's really exciting.
Well, one of the reasons that I enjoy doing the role over and over again is because of this particular version of the show. At the Players Guild, we've been doing this for so long, and as you were mentioning, there was a time when they did some other things. There was turmoil on the board and within the organization, a lot of changes happening. And when the stability came back and Josh was in charge and he made this choice, it was a good choice for a lot of reasons. But this show, I truly believe, is going to be on a national level someday. This is going to be recognized. It's a beautifully written, fabulous way to tell this story.
You have to go through such a metamorphosis from the beginning to the end. But I think what's interesting is, Don, you're not a caricature ever. When you're Grumpy Scrooge, you're still sympathetic. And I've heard, like, to play a really good bad guy, you have to relate to him in some way or find something likable about him. Tell us how you get ready for this.
Well, this is what's interesting. See, a lot of people have a sort of an understanding about what theater's like or what being an actor's like or whatever, and they give credit for things like that are so neat like that. But it was directed to me.
Oh, that was Josh again,
Yes,
huh?
this is how we're going to start, Don. Your character's going to be based in this way. We don't want some miserly old guy sitting there pretending to be a Scroogey guy.
Yeah, and yell a lot.
We want it to be someone that people can relate to, and someone that they can understand, and someone that they can have empathy with. And it has to start there. So that's the building blocks on how we form the character in the first place.
And make no mistake, you are a mean guy at the beginning, but you have a way of making the audience feel some kind of empathy for you because there's been things that have happened in your life that have made you this way. And then the rest of the play shows that all happening. And Josh, another interesting choice that you've made, all the publicity I've ever seen of A Christmas Carol shows a real scowly guy, Ebenezer Scrooge, and I'm seeing a happy, smiley Scrooge. You went with the happy ending.
Well, we do, because the story, I mean, we talk about, Don and myself, we talk about this quite frequently this time of year, but Charles Dickens, way ahead of his time when he wrote the story, is telling this story of redemption that obviously is still relevant today, because we're still talking about it, and we're putting on productions 200 years later, because we all want to believe that we can be that guy at the end of the story, and so that resonates with me, and I think it resonates with the cast. And so the choice this year was let's put the Scrooge that we are trying to portray on the marketing pieces, and remind people that this is a story about redemption and what it means at this time of the season especially.
That's wonderful. And Don, how fun for you to see your face on all the billboards and everything.
I'm a shy person in my real life. It's only when I get on stage that the other stuff happens.
that comes out.
So it's hard to see all that.
Before we go too much further, let's talk about run dates and how people can get tickets.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the show opens on December 4th. It runs through the 20th. We have productions on Fridays at 8 p.m., Saturdays at 2 p.m. and 8 p.m., and then Sundays at 2 p.m. So that's a pretty full schedule for our actors. But these tickets will go fast. They do every year. And so we always encourage people to get them as early as you can if you want great seats.
That's for sure. You got a phone number there?
We do. The box office is 330-453-7619.
Please give that one more time,
please. 453-7617. I think I said 19. It's
that might be the business office.
It is the business office. I'm so sorry. So let me clarify.
Okay.
330-453-7617.
And website?
The website is playersguildtheater.com.
Great. All right. Just a couple of seconds left, but Don, on the other side, I really want to talk to you about how you get yourself to prepare for a role that has this kind of range all in one afternoon, and then to come back again and do it again in the evening. You are going from Mean Scrooge to Happy Scrooge, back to Mean Scrooge, into Happy Scrooge, and you make it look mighty easy. In the meantime, we are talking with Josh Erickson and Don Jones from the Canton Players Guild. You're listening to WNPQ 95.9 The Light. I'm Susie Thomas. This is Our Community.